Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on the curse of Lil Durk and how his older brother Dthang was just killed. Lil Durk, the 28-year-old rapper who rose out of the trenches of Chicago in the early drill scene, has not only become one of the most successful out of Chicago, but seemingly the most cursed, as every step up on his rise to fame has been followed by tremendous loss and violent deaths. At only one, Durk's father, Dthang Banks, known as Big Durk, was arrested and labeled the leader of a drug ring. At the time of his arrest, he was allegedly in possession of $8 million, and evidence leading prosecutors to believe in a good day, Banks was pulling in $15,000 cash and distributing kilos on kilos of cocaine. He'd later be given a life sentence, serving 22 years before winning an appeal. In that time, Durk ran the streets of Chicago, building a legacy of his own and visiting his father in prison. A picture recently went viral of Lil Durk, Big Durk, and Durk's older brother Dthang, who was just recently killed. News broke through social media early Sunday morning around 1 a.m. that a shooting had took place at Club O, a popular strip club in Harvey, Illinois, roughly 30 minutes away from the south side of Chicago. Without any official news coverage, the only reports of what took place were from people claiming to have been there. Dthang was said to have been present at the club. A verbal altercation ensued with another man or group of men, and Dthang was shot in the head outside of the club. His body said to have been laying motionless, leaving witnesses to assume he died immediately. Social media blogs would post limited information, relying off posts made by family and friends who were awake at 2, 3, 4 a.m. to hear the news and mourn the 32-year-old man whose real name was Dthang Banks Jr. after his father. Confirmation spread online once the Chicago Medical Examiner listed his name and age, stating an autopsy would be performed the following day. His death would come only a week after producer Turn Me Up Josh, whom Durk worked closely with and who Durk confirmed passed through social media. But social media is nothing like reality, where people show remorse for loss. Instead, many turn to mock the dead, diss the dead, and blame Durk for the amount of deaths that have occurred around him, labeling him as cursed, or going as far as saying he's sacrificing everyone close to him. Dthang was killed June 6th, while November 6th of last year, Chicago legend King Von was killed in Atlanta after being shot by a member of another rapper's entourage after the two got in a fight outside of a hookah lounge. Durk was on Instagram Live at the time of Von's death, and the expression on his face can be seen as he read the comments that Von was shot. Durk can be credited for putting King Von on in the music industry, bringing him on to interviews, taking him on stage. He not only had faith in Von's music capability, but he knew how solid Von was as a man before anything. The brotherly bond between them would only strengthen as Von's success grew greater, before tragically ending at the age of 26. But even with Dthang and Von gone, this sadly isn't anything new for Durk. Back in 2015, Durk's manager Chino was sitting in a parked car outside of a restaurant a little before 2 a.m. A gunman approached the vehicle, opened fire, and Chino was shot multiple times, including once in the head. He had just met with an NBA player hours before to discuss an anti-violence foundation sponsorship. Chino was 24 when he died. The previous year, in 2014, Durk's cousin OTF Nuski was sitting in a vehicle when bullets started to strike, causing the vehicle to hit the front of a store in a strip mall. Durk would arrive at the scene of the shooting within 10 minutes, only to find his 21-year-old cousin had died. Durk had just signed him 2 days before. While the list goes on and on for every person Durk lost to gun violence or prison, it only makes you think, is there ever an end? Or has too much blood shed for anyone to call it quits? Would it be dishonorable to lay down the guns, knowing your family died for the cause? Would it be honorable to live the same way, knowing one day you'll meet the same fate? Whichever way you look at it, as Durk's circle gets smaller and smaller, all he has left is his family. only the family. Now, to be honest, when I do videos on rappers, on people in general, I really don't get tied into it. You know what I'm saying? From the standpoint of like how I really feel, unless I can connect to a certain story. But I can say I genuinely feel bad for Durk because he's at a stage, I mean, he's blown up completely, but he's lost so many fucking people along the way. And I can only imagine, because I'm not in the position that he's in. I might not ever be in the position that he's in. I can only imagine how it is to achieve that much success and not be able to share it with the people that you knew at the very bottom. And even more so, people that you found at the bottom, that you've brought up out of that shit, that you've had going on the same route as you, finding success, growing a major fan base. All of a sudden they're the biggest rapper in hip hop, one of the biggest rising stars, and then they die. You put in all that love and effort only to lose somebody. I feel like if I was in his shoes, I'd be asking myself, why me? Why is it that I haven't died yet? And you know, at the same time, when I think about that, I think about all the dissing. Because FBG Duck always was talking about Nuski, Durk's cousin. Duck got killed. Immediately, Durk and Vaughn stopped dissing Duck. Vaughn gets killed. It's at a point where, in my opinion, Durk has so much money, he can move a lot better than a lot of other people can. He has the money to fund security, to fund armored vehicles, to fund different locations to go to. And yeah, he can bring people along, but he's not going to be able to bring people along 24/7. And what I mean by that is, he's not going to be able to bring the whole gang with him. They're going to be by themselves at certain times, such as the situation with Dthang. It comes down to whoever's rocking with Durk can also fall victim to anything Durk says. And if Durk is dissing, but he can't be got, then people are gonna come down on whoever is accessible. And whenever they find them, they're gonna do whatever they can to kill them. But it's like I said earlier, if I was face to face with bro, I don't know if I could just tell him like, hey bro, just walk away from everything. Because I can't walk away from certain shit. When you've put in blood, sweat, and tears into something, it's engraved into you. It's like a scar that you wear on your body. It could be a mental scar. It's something that is engraved in you. It's a part of you. You know what I mean? Especially where you've built bonds off of the cause. It's the same thing with gangbanging, going to prison, whatever it is. Your worst moments, when you come together with someone else to go through it together, it builds some of the most solid bonds that you'll ever have in life. And it can be comparable to a lot of the military guys that I've spoke to. Boot camp is one thing, but when you're in a fucking battlefield and people are really getting flipped, when y'all have each other, that shit hits differently. And knowing that one of your bros died during that shit and you live to make it, you have that connection because you have that loyalty towards that person. And I feel like it's very hard for people to understand that have never found themselves in a similar situation. So I feel like if I was face to face with Durk, I couldn't tell him to walk away. All I can say is I hope it works out. You know what I mean? I hope it doesn't happen to you the same way it's happened to everybody else. Because at the end of the day, I wish we could bring back some of these dudes, even though they was dead ass rivals, killing each other's people. Because if we could have them both back and just separate the two of the motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? We'd have them both back, but that's the fucking lifestyle. That's why people like the music, because the realness of it, the authenticity of it, you can't compare it to anything else. It's real life. Do I think he's cursed? Nah. I think he's from the street. And I think the lifestyle he was already living is just magnified by the amount of money and fame that he has. So I think he's sacrificing people. Fuck no. I think that's one of the stupidest rumors that's out. It's just that's the life that he lives. And that's unfortunately what comes with it. But hey, it's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. Till next time.